Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. As proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, we're so excited to bring this show to you today. I'm Tamia Harper on hosting duty, and I'm joined by my sisters, Fran T.
Hi, folks.
Sabrina Wood.
Hey.
Yvette Blackman-Tom. So welcome. Before we get into our discussion today, I want to take a moment to shout out the official sponsor of the SyFy Sistas podcast, the Science Division, makers of the world's first and only app-enabled Tribble. Who else has adopted a Tribble from Science Division? I know I have.
Me. I have.
I know, they're super cool, right? I know, I love the little fuzzy things. I just named mine. Sabrina, you got a name for yours?
Mine is called The Tribble. The one and only Tribble. The Tribble. The Tribble.
That's fascinating.
But these Tribbles are so much fun. They have actually 3 modes. They can go at ease, where it trills and vibrates, just expressing its happiness at having found a forever home with you. Or it can be on duty, when it actively is seeking Klingon infiltrators. It trills softly for friends and squeaks loudly when it senses a Klingon nearby. Then you can put it on Watchdog. It guards your precious possessions like batleth and phasers and even those pesky comm badges, because they're so hard to keep up with. So adopt your Tribble today at Science Division. That's sciencediv.com. Science Division. By fans, for fans. Trouble's never been this fun.
You want to know what the name of my Tribble is now?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Please.
Because I've been dying to tell you. I've been waiting so long to tell you guys.
Tell us.
It's really not that original. It's Peanut Hamper.
Oh. Didn't see that coming.
My Tribble just went.
Right?
And a noise just went on. Watch. What? Don't you name me something crazy like that, Mom.
My Tribble was just like, whatever. Go float out in space now. So today we're here to talk about our gal, Captain Michael Burnham. We have a lot to address with this woman. We love her, first of all, but and we defend her. We defend her all the time from people who have so many things to say about her. And usually they're criticizing her for doing things that are kind of exactly like the same types of things that their favorite captain, Captain Kirk, would have done. So we decided to put this into a show and say, what is it with that? Michael Burnham is Kirking it up, because you actually do have a lot of similarities between the two between the two captains and their styles and engagement and everything. So what are we going to do, Sabrina?
We're going to debunk that myth.
So both of them are impulsive and rash. They can be. Both of them are pretty much smarter than the average bear. And both of them can put the needs of others before their own. So I want to talk about how they're similar and how they might be different. But I really want to address, what's up with these gatekeepers? They have so many negative things to say about Burnham.
A racist.
Well, that's just getting right to the point.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for listening. We're done. See you later. See you next week, y'all. That's our show.
Oh, boy.
She's right.
I don't know what else to say.
I think that's the most part because, from the first trailer, people were upset about the captain and her first officer were both women of color.
Yep.
They were really upset about that. They were complaining before the show even started. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Yvette has a point there. Race has something to do with it.
While I was jumping up and down and screaming like, oh my God, this is actually going to be a Star Trek show. There's going to be a Asian captain and a Black first officer. What is happening? This is awesome. Everybody around me was like, what is that about? What's going on? How could that be? I hate this new Star Trek. I hate it. I hate everything about it. This is not my Trek. This is not real Trek. And not putting a name to it, but they kept saying those type of things. When, of course, if it was, I think even if it was men, it probably wouldn't have been so, it wouldn't be so high. It's just like, it's I can see, it reminds me of a dog trying to tear you apart, like a pit bull trying to tear something apart. And it's that they hang on to it and it just won't let go. And it's just something, and then it becomes really nasty, and it just makes me very uncomfortable talking about her sometimes because of all of I don't even know how to explain it.
Vitriol?
Yeah, that's a great word.
It's horrible. It's horrible, the stuff that comes out of people's mouths when they think about this character that we actually care about, And I know that most of you here love her. I mean, I won't say I love her as a character, but I do think she's necessary. And I think she brings a lot of people joy. And why would you step on that? That's why I think it's just racist. Their feelings.
And misogynistic too.
Well, that too. I mean, because she brings a certain group of people a lot of joy. Why would you step on that?
Right. Sabrina, what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, and I agree with Fran because a lot of this stuff started even before we saw the storyline and what was going to happen. So I personally love Sonequa Martin Green, my favorite word. I love her. And her portrayal as Michael Burnham. I do have some issues with the story, the plot, and, certain things that they chose to do with the character. And I get that comparison or that complaint about it, but that's not what makes us crazy. What makes us crazy is, people saying, it's not my Star Trek because I hate it. And they just go off, completely off. Now, Janeway had the same problem. Kate Mulgrew had the exact same problem when that started, but it was basically, they were saying that she needed to be more like Kirk and she wasn't right. And she was an inept captain. I was reading some of the earlier reviews. And that show had barely taken off before, everybody just went crazy about it. But here's a quote that I found in one of the early responses. It was a comment to one of the early articles that came out by someone that just tore the show apart. And the commenter, and I'm sorry, I don't have this person's name, but if you're out there and you're listening, and I know you are.
And we know you are.
here's your comment. He said, if Gene were alive today, he would be smacking down the bigots and misogynists who complain that Discovery is too progressive. Not understanding how Star Trek has always been pushing social progressive boundaries is like going to the opera and complaining there's too much singing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
That fan has got it. It's like Star Trek has always pushed the boundaries of progressive tales and stories and, so if you want to go back to a, white male captain and you want to go back to the ship looking like the old TOS Star Trek and you want to go back to episodic and, you think that you're okay and you're not racist because you want to talk about somebody that's black on one side and white on the other, you got a show coming out for you.
You sure do.
You can watch it. But right now we're talking about Discovery and we're talking about how if you sit through this show, you will see that Burnham is Kirk and Kirk is Burnham. And we're going to tell you just how that happened.
In a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, not. In a lot of ways, not.
Right.
But in the ways that people complain about her, she's Kirking it up.
Yeah, she's Kirking it up.
Yep.
I know they did sum it up quite nicely, didn't they? So how? Let's get into some of these exploits. Because I want to know, if we had one of these people in front of us right now who is criticizing Michael Burnham for her actions, I would say to them, how are her actions? How is Kirk's actions any different from hers? Let's take a few of these episodes and look at them.
Let's go at the beginning.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
Start at the very beginning.
Let's go to the Enterprise incident. right? And go ahead.
I was going to go with the Vulcan hello. Let's start right with the show. That made
you started. Okay. All right. Let's go to the Vulcan
crazy.
hello.
How is she doing? How can she do this? Oh my God. What's she going to do? How you going to do some stuff like that? But, Kirk actually did also attempt. He did it. He was going to do a first strike on some people who were trying to have a computerized war. And he decided, no, I'm going to launch the stuff off and really cause some damage just so you know what this is about. I'm going to show you. And it was just like, okay, you're going to run into this country, you run into this planet, you're going to just do whatever you decide you want to do.
You're talking about A Taste of Armageddon?
Talking about A Taste of Armageddon. And and it was just like, oh my God, how could he's lucky he got away with it because it worked. But Burnham didn't have a chance to do what she wanted to do. And then she got court-martialed.
Yeah. The court-martialing, I mean, I know she was trying to incite mutiny. I'm just saying, like, there were so many. Kirk broke the Enterprise, like, how many times? And they gave him a new ship. It was like, oh, no slap on the wrist. It was like, oh, by the way, we got a new ship for you. Okay. I mean, I know
that's good writing.
I know, right? I know it can be debated because it was a court-martial offense. Yeah. It's just the parody of is not it's not there, right? It's non-existent. That that she's getting punished for a lot of things where certain other people like Kirk got away with this scot-free.
If you destroy someone's computer program so that now they are subjected to a nuclear blast,
right.
I kind of think, that's kind of maybe a little cowboy diplomacy gone a little haywire there. But he was lucky it worked, because what if it had not worked and there was a nuclear blast on that planet? He'd be sitting in the prison with Michael.
Yeah.
Do you think so, really?
I hope so.
Probably not.
I was like, no.
I would hope if you started a nuclear war on another planet, that you would get put in the brig at least for a couple of minutes. Have a timeout, Mr. Kirk, because you're not.
Yeah, that's probably what he would have gotten a timeout.
But that's the one that gets me, because I just think that that situation was the same kind of thing that Michael was attempting to do.
I agree.
A first strike. And, she was hemmed up. I mean, mostly because she was not the captain when she did it, which I guess is why everybody gets upset, because she had a mutiny to make somebody listen to her. But, in Walker said she was right. I mean, would that have stopped the Klingon War? I don't know. Would a bloody nose have stopped it? Maybe. According to the writers, it would have. I'm not even going to debate that.
Right. And how much of this do you think is just a difference in the storytelling styles how do we, because we're looking at two shows that were recorded in such different times, right? Yes. The way we viewed stories, the way we told stories was so different. Is it really fair to make the comparisons that we're making? And I mean, personally, I say yes. I think they tried their best with TOS. I just think it is absolutely fair to make these comparisons. I think it's the people expecting something different. I want to know what these people were expecting altogether. Anyway, like if Burnham's going around kirking it up, and it's fine when Kirk does it, what do they expect from her? What do they want from her outside what she's doing?
Well, they don't see her as an equal to Kirk, first of all.
No.
He's, they're instead of putting a Star Trek spin on it or looking at it through the Star Trek lens, they're looking at it through their lens of a Black woman not being equal to a white man who was portrayed as this captain. And he's an icon. And don't get me wrong, he is an icon. When I think of Star Trek, I do think of Jim Kirk. So She has a lot to live up to also. But she is one of his, I mean, they're only like 10 years apart from what I remember. So she's one of his contemporaries. So of course she's going to have the same style as he does. And I think the writers did write her in that fashion where she is part of that cowboy diplomacy type captain. You know, she goes out there, she's brash. She's really, really smart. Well, they're all really smart, but you know, she does what she's
smart. She's smarter than everybody else most of the time.
But Kirk is just as smart. He was teaching at the academy when he was a lieutenant. So you know, he's smart also. So I mean, he just when they become captains, only certain people can become a captain, and that's even in our world. So they do things for the good of their people, their ship, the Federation, they're just different types. And she is one of his contemporaries. So they all, they're not Jean-Luc Picard. Nobody's trying to talk their way out of anything. They're going to go out in a blaze of glory, that they both, both are going to go out, shooting. They're going to go and do things, at the top, everything's overblown, over dramatic, and both of them. So,
Fran, you were going to say something on that point about they're going to go out shooting. Were you going to say something?
No. I agree with what she's saying. I think they're both over the top, pretty much over the top.
Yeah.
I think that the different ways that they came into Starfleet has something to do with it, because Michael made Starfleet. Starfleet was basically her surrogate family, because she was orphaned, and when the Vulcans kind of rejected her, and then he says, "Well, I can find a place for you." The famous Sarek, the dad of the year. I can find a place for you in Star Trek. And then she got into Star Trek, and she just performed admirably, because also in that first episode, Captain Giorgio told her right there, it's time for you to get your own command. You're ready. It's time for you to have your own command, And so, she took a big detour, but, she was up there with him. And they can't see, the people who do this, because I must admit, for the most part, people are welcoming of Michael and who she is, but there's a strong majority, not strong, a loud minority who keeps doing this. Oh, well, she cries and she's not this and she's not that. She's not supposed to be. She's a captain. She was captain material from the beginning. So, and she's done captain stuff. She did it her way. Just like Admiral Fair said, you didn't do it, what we thought what was the right way. You did it your way. And it turned out right. Who cannot say that about Kirk?
Right.
He may didn't do it the right way, but he did it. And I think one time, and it was in a movie where they destroyed the ship, and he got demoted from admiral to captain. Mm-hmm. He didn't go to the brig or anything. He just got demoted from admiral to captain, and he was grateful for that, I'm sure. I don't think
he never saw.
Definitely was.
He never saw. The other side of that court-martial desk, except for that one time when this is wrong. Whatever. It was a frame up. But no, they never did anything like that to him. But he was always getting, Sonequa was always. Michael's always getting talked to about whatever. But do you think that maybe it is also a factor of the fact, a factor that they put her in this position of being the first officer from the get-go, and they didn't give her, because she isn't the captain, she's also bucking that natural problem in the writing of the show, her position as the first officer as opposed to being the captain, so that if she were doing these things, like I said, if she had done the Vulcan hello and was the captain, she would be on par with Kirk now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of like they wrote this in there, and then I don't know if they just wanted to make all the sisters mad or what.
Well, they had that whole trajectory that they wanted to show a story about somebody who wasn't a captain making their way to the captaincy.
Mm-hmm. But why did it have to come from the brig? From the brig to captaincy is my only problem with that whole arc. But okay. But we digress. Now we're getting into something else. We're going to talk about how Michael.
That's a podcast in itself.
Is Michael.
But they're also alike in some really kind of fun ways too. Like their cunning that they use, the guile that they use. Like I think Sabrina, you were talking about with I Mud. Both of them have their fun ways with Harry Mudd.
With the same adversary, which is even better. So, it's the same guy. and both of them have to get their ship back. And, and they go through this elaborate ruse and this play acting, and they're going to just set this trap for him. But I do think the one on the original TOS was definitely more hysterical than the one that they do in Discovery. But again, it was just this cunning, guile, play acting, and she's going to get that ship back. Kirk is going to get that ship back.
Sonequa killed herself.
Yeah,
several times.
Burnham. Burnham killed herself to, so that she could get him to, reset the clock and everything to get the ship back.
There's that self-sacrifice thing.
Yeah.
Constant. It's a constant.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Right.
But Kirk as captain also, he would sacrifice himself.
That's what I mean. They both are like that. They're the queen, the king and queen of self-sacrifice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They are always trying to get themselves killed so they can save their ship and their friends.
I remember in the latest season of Discovery. So if you haven't watched the last season of Discovery, what was that? Season 3? Mm-hmm. If you haven't watched season 3, this is a little bit of a spoiler. So just jump ahead about 15 seconds and you'll be fine. When Stamets goes off on Burnham and has his little meltdown because she made the decision to leave Colbert on the other planet, and Stamets is like, we came here for you. We all came here for you. I was like, oh my God, first of all, stop being such a whiny little bee, come on. Second of all, that woman told you repeatedly, no, you don't need to come with me. I'm fine. I got this. I'm fine. No. Everybody wanted to come with her, But I'm saying that's just illustrative of the point. Like she and Kirk both are like, nope, nobody else is going to be put into danger over what needs to. I know I'm capable enough to get it done, to whatever needs to be done. I know I can do it, and everybody else can be safe, Mm-hmm. Yep. And which is admirable and sometimes very stupid. You can't go around just willy-nilly sacrificing the most precious person on the ship, Mm-hmm. So, that's it's not like just because they're similar that I'm like, yay, bravo, with all the bravado and everything. I don't necessarily agree with it all the time, but it exists and it's there in both of them. It's a trait that exists in both of them.
I think it's a trait that probably is one of the things of a captain. Your crew is everything. Your ship and your crew. You're gonna make sure that they all get out of whatever it is. I think that a lot of people put it on Michael that she's always the one that's got to do these things. But hey, that's the way they're writing this show. I think it's good. I think that one of the things when you talk about that scene, I think it's in Search for Spock when Kirk says, I am going to take the ship. I've already stolen the ship. I got you guys this far. I'm going to take this ship all the way. I'm a fine spark. I'm going to get this whole thing done. And you don't have to come with me because you're all going to lose your careers and everything's going to be horrible. And they all say they're going to go with them. And just as you said, when Michael says she's going to go into the future and they can't come and I've got to go and I love you all. Okay, yeah, I agreed. It was a long goodbye, whatever. But, that crew decides they are going to follow her. And I think that ability to engender that kind of intense crew loyalty is something that they both have, where people will follow them to the ends of the earth. And that is something that you cannot make up. You can't learn that. That's a true mark of a captain or a leader, which I think both of them have in spades.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's such a great point. Like that folks will follow them. Folks do defer to them. Folks will listen to what they have to say. Yeah.
And I think it's because the way they portray themselves as that person that can always get it done, and always have their backs. So in the end, when they need somebody, their crew is going to follow them. And it goes for both of them. We've seen it time and time again. Their crew will follow them anywhere. And they will do anything for their crew. So I just don't see that. They're both the same people.
Yeah. Well, Michael had to prove also that she could make the hard decision, because one of the few times I didn't like what she did was when she wouldn't shoot homegirl out of the airlock.
Ariel.
Ariel, yeah, the augmented lady.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, just shoot her out of the airlock. Would you please? Just, you can't do it. Just, let her be gone. And going back and forth. I'm like, oh, please. The woman needs to go. She told you, just let her go, So she had to prove, speaking of whiny little bees, that she could make the hard decision with Stamets and sending him, into the place and everything. And, okay, so yeah, I know your life is in the thing, but look, Greenie cannot get this ship. We're not going to let her get this ship. So
you call her Greenie, Osira?
Yeah, I did.
I wish she was talking about.
My God, now we're using racial epithets. I'm sorry.
No,
Y'all
it's
didn't
not.
hear
No,
this. Y'all
I'm
did not hear this SyFy Sistas podcast.
Okay. But she's part of the Emerald chain. Emeralds
Kermit the
are
Frog
green.
is really upset with you right now.
Who?
No,
Kermit? Kermit? It's not easy being green. And the whole girl, and she proved that. But I wasn't being racial. I was just being,
just teasing you.
Oh, okay. Emerald chain. She couldn't get the ship, so she didn't want her to get. She didn't want it. So she had to shoot him over to to the headquarters and everything.
Right.
And she made the hard decision.
Right.
She didn't know that they would get back or whatever, but she had to get him off that ship. And the admiral told him she made the right decision. It was a hard one. I'm sure it was hard. You could tell it was hard from the look on her face that she really didn't want to do that. But that was the decision that she had to make. Just like Kirk. He has to make decisions, real hard decisions, and he makes them. And, and his people follow him. They follow him. Because he's a leader.
And you know what else they have in common?
Leader.
They both speechify.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Risk is our business. That's why we're aboard her.
It's what we're here for. Oh my God, they will kill you. Those two will kill you with the speech. Be like, okay, whatever you want. Okay,
I got it.
Please, just give it to them.
Stop talking.
Okay.
I already signed
Let
up.
them have it.
But Kirk is always telling somebody about themselves and why they shouldn't be doing something. And, I don't understand when, people will throw that, the word of social justice word, or not even say it that way. They'll say SJW. SJW. So when did that become like a bad word? I mean, social justice is something that's a wonderful thing. Right. And now you're going to turn it into something else and throw
pejorative.
It as a pejorative on her. When Kirk is like the biggest social justice warrior walking around, he's always trying to tell everybody, you need to have it this way. Okay, all the men need to come down and live on the planet down here with the women because that's the way things are supposed to be. Right. He's going to tell you the people up in the clouds need to come and live down with the people on Earth because that's the way it's supposed to be. Yep. And, he's always trying to tell you the way it's supposed to be. And they're like, no, it's not in our culture, no. But nobody calls him a social justice warrior when he is one of the biggest ones.
Right. Yeah. Kirk has issues with accepting other people's choices to be as they want to be. The folks were fine with Landru and the Red Hour. Nobody was upset with that. Kirk was like, oh no, this is not the way this is supposed to be. I'm going to tell you how we live. Nobody had a problem. Everybody was cool with purging out every once, I think that's probably pretty healthy. Everybody just knock that shit out your system right now and we can go on living, we'll be fine.
Oh, the poor people that were on that planet with with Vol, they were okay.
They were fine with Vol.
They were fine with Vol.
They were completely happy in their existence. There was no reason for Kirk to impose his will.
Well, they were kind of trapped. Vol had them trapped, so there was that. The ship was in trouble, but he totally destroyed the whole civilization. Like, not a problem. My ship is out. Are you good? You good?
Oh yeah, they always left everybody in pieces. They're like,
he left them in totally just they don't know what's going on, but not a problem. Oh my God. But and we do. I love Jim Kirk. I love Jim Kirk. I do. That's my boy. But that strength of character and that stubbornness and they are really extremely influential personalities. People who follow them. And I think that it's really quite evident when you look at the Mirror episodes and what went on in that one Mirror of Star Trek. Yeah. And then what went on in the Mirror in the second season, because these two were really thrown in almost the exact same situation, except for some details, which I never really thought about so much until we were going to do the show. But, Kirk ends up going back, that he's in the Mirror universe, and he realizes this person that's his lover, she and he are now, in cahoots, and they're trying to take over everything and take over the ship and take over the universe. Mm-hmm. And Michael has the same revelation. She gets into the Mirror universe and realizes that Lorca is not her captain or not her crewman. This is her lover. And now she's got to act like, oh yeah, I knew all this to be true to the rest of the people and get herself out of this somehow. I'm like, oh, okay, you're both in the same mirror situation, basically. It was crazy. So, and you see these two totally influence the person that they are, acting opposite. Mm-hmm. With their strength of character to change how these people view their own universe. And it's just amazing, I think. But that's what happened to Kirk. That's what happened to Burnham.
I thought that was a great piece of writing, that it actually took until we started talking about this show and thinking of before me to see the parallels there. Mm-hmm. That what the writers did, like they really did go back to the original Mirror universe in theme. For this, which is lovely, which is better than we can say for DS9, and their Mirror universe episodes,
They went to a different mirror. They went to the alternate Mirror universe.
All right. Well, after the Mirror universe, I do love the Mirror universe ones. I just kind of want to throw this question out there, which, we've sort of addressed a little bit, but I want to address it explicitly, that if Michael Burnham were not a Black woman, right? If this character was a man named Michael Burnham, do you think, or and especially and if not only if she was a man, but also if she was a white man. If she was a man or if she was a white man, do you think that people would be so critical of her actions? The same
No.
No way.
No.
No.
Do you think that they would, if she was a black man instead, that they would be so critical of her actions?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I really think that female is the third rail, and black female is just lay your whole body on the third rail.
Right.
Yeah, you're electrocuted. Just give it up because you're dead.
You're dead.
You're dead. I mean, because the stuff that Kate Mulgrew went through, with Voyager is pretty on par with what.
And she was a captain from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. She was a captain, and I don't know what it is. I said maybe that turnabout intruder lady is right. These people aren't ready. They are not ready, and they say they are. And and I think there's a lot of like Fran was saying, it's a loud minority, because when this show came out, when Discovery came out, and I understand that being on a streaming service is different from being on broadcast, and so the numbers aren't comparative, but this is one of the best reviewed shows of all the franchises. So when it came out, people, the critics were like, "Wow, this is really great," and people, it made all this money for CBS All Access. And then just as the trolley kind of people did to Star Wars, and that came out and decided that they were going to hate that after they had loved it for so long, when a certain person became a stormtrooper, they came out of the woodwork, when Kate Mulgrew came out as captain, and they came out again when this one came out. So like I said, you can be happy that you've got your, white male captain, and, instead of making it one half white and one half black, you can make it one half red and one half blue. And maybe then you'll feel better.
You'll feel better, right.
But you know what we've kind of like missed in this whole thing?
What's that?
The influence they both had on Spock.
Yes.
Because remember, he looked up to her. He had idolized her at one point, and and she gave him the advice of, the character gave him the advice of reach for him, and I'm pretty sure, some people say it was McCoy, but I'm pretty sure it was Kirk.
It was Kirk.
Oh, definitely she would tell him Kirk.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't know who he was, but
she didn't know who he was, but I'm pretty sure it was Kirk, and that's how him and Kirk, I think the writers connected it well. I thought that they both influenced him positively, so then, there's that, Spock is, her brother, her little brother, her younger brother, and him and Kirk had a brother relationship as well as a friendship. So let's not forget that part too. They both had Spock in common.
Oh yeah. That's a big one.
It is a huge one. And not only did they both have a huge impact on the man that Spock became to be, but they were both saved by Spock.
Both.
Many times. But
many times, yes. But
because he saved her when she was a little girl, right? Also.
Yeah.
And he saved her as an adult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When he saved her from the AI from...
oh, yes.
Oh,
the little the
nanites.
The nanites.
The nanobots.
I tell you, I was just watching it the other day. If you just watch the Tholian Web and that episode, it is like Spock saving each one of them in the last second as the stuff is coming. I mean, I'm like screaming, Spock, come on. And I think Tholian Web is one of my all-time favorites because, and that one too, there's really funny because there's a scene in that Tholian Web where they have to go and they believe Kirk is dead and they have to listen to the last orders. Yes. And before they listen to the orders, McCoy is yelling at Spock like he is saying, Jim wouldn't have done this. Jim wouldn't have done this. You're not Jim. And I said to myself, McCoy at this moment is every one of that vocal minority screaming that you are not Jim Kirk. Michael Burnham.
Right. So. Yes. Oh my God. He was on a rant. I mean, he just would not stop.
No. He just wasn't having it.
Well, I think, they both also got to meet the Guardian of Forever.
True.
Which is really cool. They have a lot of, there's a ton of fun things that they both did.
Because they're both considered temporal menaces. That's why. Back and forth into time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did the Admiral say to Michael when they got into the 32nd century? That's a crime.
That's a crime.
Yeah. And on the Trouble with Tribbles, and he brought up Kirk's name, and they're like, oh gosh. Remember
that guy.
The Triple police officers? Oh, not him. Not Kirk.
They hadn't met Janeway yet either.
That's right.
By that time.
She was doing everything. She was doing everything, She was not trying to go back, and time kept coming to her.
Yeah.
These two were going around the sun and trying to make it happen and going in the suits.
Come back around
the sun.
Yeah. How can I make this? I'm going to go find a time crystal. Okay. So, but one of my favorite ones, though, this is one of the last ones that I have, where I just think that it's really kind of funny that they both did the same thing. But on the Enterprise incident where we were going at the beginning of the show, and Kirk is trying to get off of the Romulan ship, and he fakes his death, and they
the Romulan
take him off
death
the
grip.
ship.
I said,
the Vulcan death
pinch.
Right.
In another set of play acting by our favorite
Love
crew.
that episode.
And then again in The Wolf Inside, and Michael, spaces Ash faking his death to get the information off the ship.
Yeah.
I just said, now there's some quick thinking people there.
Right.
Oh yeah. And it wasn't
Michael's not going to fake her own, but she's going to fake Ash.
Yeah, she definitely said, I'll fake Ash.
And it wasn't a death pinch, it was a death grip, because remember, he grabbed him by his face. He didn't do the neck thing. The shoulder thing. He grabbed him by his face and said it was a Vulcan death grip.
I thought that was just one of the funniest things. Oh. Yes, it was a Vulcan death grip.
It was.
So why did the Romulans not know that was fake? But okay, I'm gonna let you
go. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you think did Kirk ever beat Spock in 3D chess? And do you think Michael could?
Oh, Michael said
Michael could beat.
Michael could beat him, don't
Spock. You? Yeah, I don't think Jim could.
She beat her. I think she beat her Spock. I do. I think she did.
Mm-hmm. I think they both.
I think Jim always came close. I think he always came close to beating.
Yeah, because he had to deal with the mature Spock by that point.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He had to deal with a very mature Spock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Kirk had that kind of brain that he could sit there and hang with Spock at a 3D chessboard.
I could see them coming at an impasse more than once, where no one, I would, because Kirk is very intelligent. He thinks out of the box all the time. So
he cheats.
He does cheat, but sometimes
he does.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that book.
He cheats.
Sometimes sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes you gotta cheat.
Sometimes you gotta cheat. Sometimes you do have to cheat, especially if you're gonna be the cap. If you're gonna, anybody who's made it to the top and has got the flagship and is, I don't know how old. I can't remember how old Kirk was when he was captain, but he was pretty young.
He's young.
Yeah. So
34. Yeah.
Right. So there's no way you get there without fudging a few things.
Cheating a little bit.
Well, that too.
Kirking it up. The boys kirking it up. Hey, we love Captain Kirk.
I do. I enjoy Captain Kirk a lot. I did not. I just fell in love with him this summer. Was it this summer or this winter?
This summer.
We don't know. I know.
It's still pandemic time. I don't know.
Right, yeah, we don't know what season it is.
I don't know the season. It's supposed to be spring. I got a blanket on.
Spring now, something. I don't know.
It's snowing. Like an hour away from me. I don't know.
Well, just so you know, like I think all Star Trek series probably go through this with the fans. I don't know. We have some of the most heartless fans ever, because I'm going to read you a quick quote on another show, and I just want you to guess which show they're talking about in this quote. Longtime fans hated the show by saying it's a soulless grab and it isn't really Star Trek. And the show they were talking about was The Next Generation.
Of course.
I was going to guess. I was going to guess Next Gen.
Yeah.
So, don't worry, Discovery fans. This will all blow over. These people will finally, 10 years from now, like they said about Deep Space Nine and Voyager, which just broke a record. They'll be coming around talking about how they were there from day one. We'll be like, no, you weren't.
No.
Well, and not only that, not only do you not have to worry because this is how it goes with every new Star Trek show, but you also don't have to worry because the SyFy sisters are here for you.
Right.
We're here for you.
That's
and we're not going to let those loud minority obscure our voices or our point of view or the truth. We're giving you the facts, Jack. Just the facts, Jack. Just the facts, Jack. I think it's been a great discussion on Michael Burnham kirking it up. And if people want to get into this discussion and have any points they want to raise with us, how can they reach us, Yvette?
Well, you can reach us by, you can find us on SyFysistas.com. That's SyFysistas.com. Or you can join us on the mothership. And that's MUTHASHIP and the SyFy Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. And you can find us on Instagram, syfy.sisters, and also on Twitter at SyFy Sisters.
All right. And we want to give a big, huge shout out and thank you to the most phenomenal engineer in the world. That's Dose the Anonymous. Dose the Anonymous. Who is he? He's Dose, baby. Dose the Anonymous.
Dose.
He's responsible for all the music you hear on our show, as well as he's the most phenomenal engineer. And he can be reached at dosetheanonymous@gmail.com, DOSTHEANONYMOUS@gmail.com. So thank you, sisters. I think it's been a fun discussion.
Yep.
Yeah. I always want to talk about Michael.
And
Connect the dots.
That's right.
We connected the dots.
And then give a little shout out to the writers because of Discovery. Because
Brilliant.
Yeah. Got a little bit more respect for them coming down the way. So thanks, everybody. It's been great. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. See you on the next show. Peace, love, and hair grease.